Hey everyone, welcome back to Gray Area's Artist Spotlight. My name is Austin Miller, and today we have one of the most prolific contributors to the current G House sound in the sea today, arguably even of all time, Danny Chien, better known around the world as the one, the only Wax Motif. Dude, thank you so much for cutting some time out of your day, man. It's great to have you on here.
Hey, no worries, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So we're a bit into 2022 now, and how's the year been starting off for you? It looks like you just sold out a massive show in Denver, so congrats on that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was cool. All the shows have been really good, man. So pretty much everything sold out. We sold out like Texas, I think the week before as well.
Nice,
and then
man.
we're about to announce the next LA show, which is probably like my biggest show yet. So that one's kind of a bit nerve-wracking. We'll see if we can do like max that one out.
Yeah, man. Well, because LA is your hometown, right? I bet they show up in spades for you.
LA's sick. I mean, my hometown's technically Sydney, but
Oh
like
yeah.
this is
But your
like my
base,
second.
yeah.
I mean, this is like my second home. You know what I mean? I've been here for so long now, and like,
yeah,
it just feels like home.
Nice, man. Has there ever been like a city that you went to or an event that you played where like the crowd reaction or engagement or turnout just totally took you by surprise?
Yeah, I always thought Lollapalooza was like, I mean, I know it's like a big one, right?
Uh-huh.
But I don't think you really realize like, because I think it's all ages or it's like 18 plus, right?
Yeah,
They go
yeah.
crazy.
I think it might be all ages. I don't know how they would even verify who's 18 and who's not.
No, I think it's cool if you bring your kids or something, but you just need a wristband. I don't know, but like I never really thought it was going to be like crazy for dance music, but the dance music stage is like one of the biggest, like Perry's,
Nice.
and they just go like so crazy. They're so energetic. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. A festival can be a family affair for sure. I remember I was at EDCO one time, and there was just this dude like chilling out in the back of the crowd, where there's plenty of that space to have that air to breathe and all that. And he just had his kid on his shoulders, just had the headphones on, and they were just freaking moving and grooving together, man. It was a beautiful thing to see.
yeah, man. I mean, I feel like Coachella's like that, right? Probably heaps of kids. You probably see heaps of babies and shit, like parents that like young parents that get FOMO and just like, I'm bringing the kid.
Just hordes of kids running around, just no parents to be seen.
They need like a babysitting area. You could probably charge a shitload. Like
kids will see you back at the tent at sunset.
Yeah, I mean it's like a mini Yuma tent, but like for the daycare.
Yeah. Now on like the flip side of that,
the Wiggles probably headline and like draw the biggest crowd.
Yeah. I bet the kids they're able to slip through the crowd, man, and get right to the front. They can get to the best seat in the house,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of scary thought now.
True,
like
actually,
after that whole like now, that used to be cool, and now I think about that, I'm like, oh god, I don't know, man.
Hashtag Astro World. Oh my gosh. But no, on the flip side of that, like, is there a favorite spot that you love to play or that you just know is always going to bring like some ripping energy all the time?
I mean, LA, Chicago, New York.
Yeah.
I feel like are the three really lit ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, I don't know. I like going like Miami, obviously.
Yeah. Cool, man.
I always have fun like just going to Atlanta and stuff, and like just like those more like South kind of Texas.
Yeah,
like bro, Texas is fire.
So. Yeah, I saw that you're getting ready to come up to Charlotte. I'm actually based in North Carolina myself, and you're coming up to Charlotte in a month.
Yeah, I somehow go. Is that considered the Northeast?
No, so it's like mid-Atlantic, they sometimes say, but it's like still the South.
Mid-Atlantic?
Yeah, it's still like the South. It definitely is still the South. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like way below the Mason-Dixon, but North Carolina's like house scene is low key, like it's on the up, man. It like they know how to respect some house and some techno. So that, and their club scene is on the up. So it's cool to be a part of it. It doesn't quite have the same turnout as like a big city, but they definitely, the people that do show up know how to throw it down. So
sick.
Hell yeah, man. So, all right, man. Well, so every story has a beginning. And before Wax Motif was bringing booty shaking beats and these cheeky stompers to dance floors all over the world, you know, there's Danny Chien, born and raised in Australia. So I was wondering if you could kind of tell us a bit about your upbringing and like where your musical journey kind of began. You know, what were some of your earliest childhood memories with music?
I don't know. Like I never really like grew up with music like that much. I don't think, or maybe I did, but like my parents weren't like crazy into music or anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, unlike some people who's like parents are like composers and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
My parents weren't really like musical or anything. They were just like working a lot. Like they were immigrants, so like they were just working a lot. So like I would just find shit to do like by myself around the house and shit.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, music never really like kicked in until like a little older.
Okay.
And then like that was when I started like finding like rap shit and like dance music, like
nice.
But just on my own like LimeWire, you know what I mean? Like
just tearing up your computer with viruses.
Yeah, nah. I was like all over that shit, Napster, LimeWire. So it was really like then, you know what I mean? And I just find heaps of shit and like suddenly I knew like every word to like fucking Juicy by B.I.G. and shit.
Dude, that dude, that's a classic, bro. That if you're gonna know all the words to a song, that's a good one to go to.
It's like the karaoke jam, you know?
Yes, dude, that's a great one.
It's crazy now that the Super Bowl halftime show, it's like that shit is karaoke music.
Dude, I've been seeing it all over where people are going like, finally a halftime show that's like not for old people. We got like some young artists and it's like, oh God, no, wait. Oh,
you know what's crazy? Yeah, I was talking about that with my mate yesterday and he goes, yeah, I like that halftime show. And I go, that means we're old.
Yeah.
Fucking appeal to us.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, anyway, so I started kind of finding like dance music and shit. And then from there, I guess I found like raves and stuff, like a way to go to like see this shit.
Yeah. Like what was like where were you at like age wise at that time? Were you in high school, college?
When I went to my first rave was like 16.
Okay, cool.
So I went with like a bunch of older dudes from my school. They were in like the year above, but they all like were around my area and shit and like going. And so I just went with them and like, you know, did the rave things.
Yeah.
And then got home at like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. type shit.
Yeah. Just went about the day the next day.
No, I came up with like a bag of McDonald's and went to bed.
Yeah.
I was 16, so I was living at my parents' house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, from there it was just that's kind of what started it all. But I never really like started DJing until I was like probably like I was in my 20s.
Okay, cool.
Because like it wasn't really an option, you know what I mean? Like DJing for fucking life, like
especially
I mean it was an option, but there's like for 1% of people, and like, you know what I mean, like
especially if you didn't like grow up around that scene or like even exposed to that music. Like that's very interesting that you kind of just came about it very organically like that.
Yeah, actually, like I live kind of far from the city, but like randomly, like because there's not many DJs from my city, but randomly like Timmy Trumpet, do you know who Timmy Trumpet is?
Yeah.
So Timmy's from like my neighborhood.
Oh no shit.
And like we've known each other since we were like 16.
What? Dude, that's such a cool connection to have, to come up together. It's like that.
Yeah. Me, him, and this other dude, Rich Penny, who like he ended up working at this company, Zane Robe, and then starting Barney Cools, and now I think he works with Fisher on like the Fizzy thing.
Okay.
For me, the three of us are all from the same area, but it's like a random area. Like, you know what I mean? Like no one's from there. Nothing goes on there. It's like 45 minutes from like the beach. Like nobody would go there. It's like going to fucking what's worse than Glendale?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just wouldn't go there. And like, to be honest, there's nobody like that makes it, like not saying it's like a bad area, but like there's nothing special. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no famous people from my area. There's no like nothing. So it was kind of boring growing up. You know what I mean? That's why I was on in LA, like doing internet shit.
Yeah. Quite the opposite of LA.
Yeah, bro. Like it was boring.
Yeah. So when so like going from that area, like was it a huge kind of culture shock getting into LA, just as far as the pace of everything and how much was happening in one spot?
It was at first. Yeah, like the first few times coming here, it's like crazy. So much fun. Like I think that's why I wanted to move. And like one of my friends who used to come a lot with me, he's actually in LA right now visiting, but he me and him would just come every year basically.
Yeah.
During March for like South by
Okay.
Miami, and then come to LA for like a month and then go back. So like every time it was like 2 or 3 months every year we'd be out here trying to like grind.
Nice,
And
dude.
like yesterday he did a session with like Khalid, you know.
Yeah.
Khalid
Yeah.
did a session out in LA with Khalid, so he's like doing mad shit too.
Nice,
Just
man.
that he goes back and forth more, and I stay out here. But yeah, we basically used to come out a lot together, like every year. So when I moved, it didn't feel that weird, but the first few times when I visited, like I liked it so much, I just kept coming, you know.
Okay, cool. And like, and you were visiting kind of like trying to get like plant some seeds and get some work done, like from a producing standpoint.
Yeah, 100%. Because like there's no other way you can do it from Australia. I mean, now there is, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a couple kids that like can be based out there and like smash it.
Yeah.
But back then, man, like we weren't even on the map. Like,
yeah,
I think basically the only two people I knew that had moved were like Tommy Trash and Anna Luno.
yeah,
You know who those two are?
yeah.
And like that was when Tommy was like really big, right?
Yeah.
Like right when he did like just before Reload. Because I remember I was with him like when he wrote all those kind of records, like when he was still in Sydney. He's like kind of like the OG to me, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
So I got to watch all that happen in front of me, and like that was when I moved, when he was like, "You're too good for this shit in Australia." Not too good, but do you know what I mean? Like it's not.
At the
You're
time,
pretty
it's not
much
going to
at the
push you
peak of
forward.
like you're getting close to the limit to the glass ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And then Anna had just moved out here. She was killing it too. She was like, "Dude, you have to move." Like,
Yeah.
and I think I just did like the Mad Decent EP and some shit on Dim Mac and Fool's
Yeah.
Gold, and it just
Nice,
it
man.
didn't make sense to stay.
Yeah, for sure. Now looking back, now that like, and you kind of referenced it earlier, that now there is some really like recognizable talent like in Australia, but do you kind of hold some pride for that like growing Australian music scene now?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like I helped grow it. Maybe I did inadvertently and didn't realize, but I'm proud of like knowing all these people and watching them, and like they're all still pretty like chill people, you know what I mean? Like I met Flume before he was like right when the Flume project started, but I don't think he put anything out. And he like came to my house with like What's So Not. And just chilling with them, or like Yolanda Be Cool, even like when they had that song Americano.
Yeah.
Like we knew all these people, like Allison as well. Like Allison and me used to DJ in like the same bar and shit.
No way.
Yeah. So it's like I think it's more just like it's cool to like not have this weird thing where we're like in each other's lanes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of unique in their own way, and like two just knowing each other like for so long. Like just seeing the progression of everyone, you know. I'm sure they'd probably say the same shit about me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, and and you know, especially like when you're all trying to kind of grind and you're all trying to make it, you know, the road to the top is a lot faster when you kind of help each other up, you know, if you're just like surrounded with good people and people who are, you know, good at heart, trying to help each other up, then it can definitely make for a really tight community, but also a really successful community as well.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I wouldn't say we're like all super close like that, but like I think it's cool that like we all came from the same spot and like ended up somewhere good, but without having to like copy anyone else's shit. You know, everyone took their own road to get there, to get to where they are, which is cool. So.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So like when you were kind of, you know, when you were first getting into dance music, like what sounds kind of really drew you down that rabbit hole at first? You know, it can be a pretty steep dive into it once you first stumble upon dance music.
I think like obviously like trance.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody's first dance music, bro.
Yeah, well, because it's like
in
just
some way,
subtle
you know what I mean? Like even if you don't know it's trance, it's probably like I don't know, it's either progressive house record
Mhm.
or it's trance.
Yeah.
Unless you're like fully commercial and like Swedish House Mafia was the first shit you heard.
Yeah.
The first shit you probably got into was like some kind of Dead Mouse or Cascade or
Yeah.
like so like prog or like some kind of trance like Above and Beyond or
Yeah.
Armin, like
Yeah.
some shit like that. So that, but it moved pretty quick out of that. Like that was cool just for like, I don't know how to say it, like for lack of a better term, like experimenting.
Yeah. Yeah. For dipping your toes into it, you know?
And then like French House.
Mhm.
Just because like I really enjoy it, or like Armin van Helden, like because the sampling shit was just so, the texture and stuff and the feel sort of like organic and nice.
Yeah.
Something about like I Don't Want Your Soul by Armin van Helden.
Dude, Armand, he knows how to make some tracks. I'll tell you what, he knows how to throw it down, and it always has just such a solid groove to it too.
He's great on the samples. He's a great
Yeah.
sampler. Like,
Which is also which is a really cool parallel like from dance music to hip hop also. Like both really heavily rely on some, or well, can really heavily rely on some good sampling, and a good sample over the right beat or over like kind of the right energy, it can just take a track to the moon, man.
oh yeah. That's like he's a pro. He's like the DJ premier of house.
Yeah.
But on that sampling thing, I was gonna say that Tell Me Something Good song. Have you heard that?
Like
It's
tell
like
me
you
something
Kyver or
good.
whatever. It's getting big right now. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much that. It's just a vocal
Yeah.
and a bass line and a kick. A few stabs here and there, but it's like
right, dude. It doesn't take
all you
much.
need, man.
It really doesn't take much. And like as long as it like it just once it gets you moving, then it's game over. It's game over. Yeah, man. So now like how did you kind of go from like you started listening to trance, started getting into some prog, some French house. At what point were you like, I want to get behind the decks? Like, how are they spinning this? I want to try this out.
Fuck, it was so late because I remember when I was like 16 or 17, my friend bought decks and I went to his house and I was like playing with them. They were like new mark, like turntables.
Yeah.
And I was so bad. It was so difficult. You know what I mean?
Well, especially when you have actual wax records, man, it gets way difficult.
Like, nah, I never do this. So anyway, I went through high school. I started college, and I mean, high school was sick because I was playing sport, so music was never really like in my mind. You know what I mean? Like I was just like playing sport the whole time. So
yeah.
College came around, obviously start partying more and start like going to clubs, like actual clubs now, like you're not going to raves anymore because you can like, get into clubs. So it was kind of like around then, I guess. I just bought like some shitty turntables.
Yeah.
And just bought like 2 records and just would go back and forth. Like I had like a house that like my friends would like come chill at. So my friends would come chill and like play 64 and shit or like whatever, like FIFA. And like I would just mix from one record back to the other, to the other. It's like a Pump DJ's record into a Chemical Brothers record into the same one. I only had 2 vinyls. So yeah, I was doing that, but just for fun.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna be a DJ. I was just like,
it's just a fun
I don't want to play fucking video games with you cunts anymore, but I want someone to do, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just turned into like doing fun shit. Like we would make like a mix for my friend's birthday, like made a song, made like a stupid rap song and shit.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think it was probably, I'm trying to think of like a really defining moment where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna crush. I think so. Halfway through college, I came to America on like a gap year almost. So me and my 2 buddies like came here and we did a season in the snow. And while we were there, we saw Cascade.
Nice.
And I was like, the first time I've seen Cascade, you know what I mean? And I think it was after that, but it wasn't even a good show. Do you know what I mean? It was like in Tahoe, in like a shitty nightclub. Like it wasn't like, if you think about what Cascade plays at today, where it's like Staples Center and shit.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't a good Cascade show. For some reason, it triggered me to be like, when I get home, I'm gonna try and do that actually, you know. I think one of the guys we were with, like, we were with, like, it was me and my two friends. There were like 3 other Australian guys in our crew. One of them was like trying to be a DJ too, so it kind of like, you know, triggered something, I guess. Like, hey. And then I came home and I tried, but I wasn't like good. You know what I mean? That was when like the really long boring started.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, you're trying and you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and like, you just, yeah, I don't know.
Just and you're kind of just cutting your teeth at that point, man. You know, you're trying to get a handle on it. There's a lot going on a turntable, man. There's a lot of things to keep track of, and it's not exactly the easiest thing to do. It looks like just a bunch of pushing buttons, but damn it, dude, those buttons do a lot of things.
Yeah, it's actually that, and like, I mean, that dealing with like crowds and like travel and stuff.
Yeah,
but like, the business, like the rest of the business, you know what I mean? Like when it goes from being a hobby to like being a fucking how you gotta live, it's like it definitely changes. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you know, when you were trying to navigate that business, like when did that kind of pick up as you started coming like over to LA a little bit more? Did it kind of really pick up when you when you moved to LA? At what point did that business side really start to take over from the hobby side of it? Like at what point were you like, okay, well, this has a real chance of a career, and then the career side of things actually started picking up?
I guess I got the groundwork like laid for me in Australia a little, because like when you first start getting going, like you get agents and stuff out there too.
Yeah.
So I guess the first sign where it really became like, okay, was when I like quit my job, had an agent. Yeah, I guess when I first quit my job, you know what I mean? And now I'm like paying on my rent. But you get a little taste of it because, yeah, you have agents and stuff out there. It's not really the same as the level here, you know what I mean? But like it sets you up for like, okay, I got to register a business, I got to like do invoices, I got to like do a bunch of shit. And then when you come to America, it's just like there's like a job for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a business manager, a lawyer, there's like a fucking this person, that person.
Yeah. Kind of allows you to be able to just focus more on your music.
Yeah, it does, but it can be distracting, and it can be challenging if you don't have the right team. So I think it's really like a combination of factors these days, you know what I mean? It's not just about being like a talented musician. You have to really like have this like synergy with everybody that you work with, and they got to be like down the grind, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Nice, man. Well, I'm happy to see that. I mean, clearly you seem to be navigating it pretty well lately these days, man. Because, you know, you've really accrued this reputation as like the G House giant, man. And, you know, you've accrued that reputation for a reason. Because like, one, your sets are filthy. Like anyone who's seen you perform knows it's just a sweaty, ass shaking, crowd jumping, full throttle party. And like, what is it like? Was that the kind of the vibe that you were getting into when you started like going to clubs? Like, what is it that really brings you into that just party starting sound?
Okay, so that really started around the time when I first started going like full time into it, like just transitioning. There's a bunch of parties like in Sydney, like Funk Trust was one of them, and it was just like dance music, but it was a little bit more open format. It was like, remember like I don't know if you know like Crafty Cuts and like Dr. Luke and shit. Like
the Crafty Cut sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. So like it was like that kind of shit. Dr. Luke actually went on to become like Dr. Luke, you know, the producer that did like Katy Perry and Kesha and shit. But back then he was doing some like weird dance music shit. And that and like those DJs and like Z Trip and like Craze and A-Track.
Yeah.
That was like that phase for me where it was like mad turntablism dudes, like open format dudes.
Yeah.
Like just, you know, it was like rap music, but like, I don't know, everything. I love that shit. Like I used to watch DJ Craze. Like I'm so like I love DJ Craze because I'm friends with him, and like dude is like my hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
him and A-Track, bro, like, and Z-Trip. Like I can't believe I like know those guys now.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
they know who I
trailblazers,
am,
man, and they're
you know what
still
I mean?
getting
Like,
after it.
yeah, it might not mean a lot to like most people, I guess, these days, like
Mm.
especially like a dance music centric crowd, but like in terms of like technical ability DJs, like there's no one. They're the best in the world.
Yeah,
They're the fucking Jay-Z and fucking Kanye and fucking, I can't even think of a third person, Diddy of fucking
yeah. It's still
of
and it's
music.
and you know that's still out there, man. It's not a lost art. You know, I know A-Track still does his like his contest every year, and it brings out some like some really cool talent to see. It's really solid, and it's really freaking I don't know, man. It's impressive to see it because you get some young kids out there too. Like you get all ages, and you see some young kids that can freaking spin.
Yeah, man. I mean that was they're just the next A-Tracks. Like that dude was like 15 when he fucking won the world championship or some shit, and now he's like putting on the next gen of like
Yeah,
little mean ass little kids. Like I've seen little girls fucking cutting up on turntables like crazy,
yeah.
crazy.
It's
So I
wild,
mean,
man, and
Snake
it's
does a lot of that too. Still, like
yeah,
I mean, he's on Serato and shit. Just but it's like he brings that like energy, the turntablism thing into his dance music sets. You know, I like that. I should
yeah,
do that
man.
more. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm so focused on production right
Mhm.
now and stuff like that. So
Yeah, well, and you know, let's kind of talk about that. You know, like was you're focused on your production and stuff. Was there like a track that as you were finding your sound, you know, as you were dialing in like the sound that you're trying to convey? Was there a track that really resonated with you as you were honing that passion, honing that sound for dance music?
I don't know, man. Because to be honest, like on the inside, I feel like I'm still honing it. Like I don't even know if honing it's the right word. Like I think I've honed my ability,
Mhm.
and now I want to just make things that I feel inspired by in the moment that don't necessarily have a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think I got so used to making like music that had like a particular energy or a particular like vibe to it that like it kind of became about making club single, making club single,
Yeah.
making club single, which I'm not against, right? I think you got to do that. But I think at the point where I'm at, like it can't always just be making music for other people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It has to be making it for myself.
Yeah.
For me to like want to go in the room for like 8 hours. And
100%.
so I'm trying to I'm trying to do that. Like try not to think too hard about, okay, obviously I'm still gonna have club records, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've still got like some in the bag that we'll
Yeah.
put out. But I mean, for the most part, like, you know, that grind that
Hmm.
I was just saying, at a certain point, you get to a point where you're like, I need to do a few things just for me, even if people don't like them. And then we'll go back to the regular scheduled programming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's just, it was such a shame to have made so much of this music and for it to just to sit on my laptop and
Yeah.
like not go anywhere.
Yeah.
So this is really the album's really just a collection of, I mean, it's not, there's new songs on there too, but for the older stuff, the reason why there's maybe some things that are a little bit like left of pocket is
Hmm.
because I just made it with some homies and was like,
Yeah.
this is fire. I would
Yeah.
listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the feeling I want. I don't really want people to sit there and judge every track like
Yeah.
this isn't going number one on Beatport. Like I don't
Yeah.
care. It wasn't what it was for. It was just like, just fuck with this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you listen to this in the shower, or listen to this in the car, or like
Yeah.
listen to this hanging with your chick. Like
Yeah.
cool. There's a song on here for like each one of those occasions. Like
Nice, dude.
that's
And that's really cool, man. And I think people really resonate with that, you know, or I think listeners really resonate with, you know, that kind of authentic expression of your sound, you know, or not necessarily just your sound, but of your ideas, you know. And I
yeah.
think that's like when it does get formulated, I think, you know, it's definitely can, you know, it helps to establish like, all right, this is what artist is known for. But when like you're saying, you really are trying to get out the things that when you play it through your speakers, you're just like, yeah, this is a track right here that I think that people also really like they feel that as well. I don't know if they can quite pinpoint what it is, but I think that they can listen to it and they hear that like authenticity almost. Like, you know, take for example, like the track that you finished out 2021 with, Coalac. Dude,
yeah,
I love that track. Like that's
you.
actually become one of my favorite tracks since it came out in the fall. And I like listen to that like driving home like from work and from practice all the time, especially if I catch a good sunset. It's a great sunset song, dude. I love that track.
That for me sums up like the album in a way, because that song was added really late. Because we've actually like pushed the album a few times. And part of the reason was because we added that late and we put it out and like got so many fucking plays. Like a ton of people like were just like, yo, like this is sick.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to be like anything, you know what I mean? I wasn't trying to be like, I just made it in, I started the idea like just really rough at home, but I finished it in Tulum. It was the right vibe, you know, just like sitting in the jungle, like outside, dude, finishing the record.
Yeah, I totally see that.
So came home, played it for a few people. Everyone's like, yeah, add it. So we added it and it did so well. It's been doing so well that everybody was like, you got to push the album again, because this single was like, don't cramp its style. You know what I mean? Just let it go for a little.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. But that to me, that's what sums it up. It's like, it's not, I know I'm a big advocate of making shit you play in all your sets and stuff, but like this is the right song for the right set, you know what I mean? If I play a sunset or something, this is that. So it might not appear in every fucking headline set I do.
Yeah.
But if you go home and vibe to it like after the fact, or like you hear it when I'm playing at a sunset or an after party, like that's what it's that really was for me, you know what I mean? It wasn't.
And at the end of the day, you know, like, I mean, and I'm sure that's, you know, that's how you started getting into this, you know, you started doing it for you. You didn't start doing it because I'm going to try and be a world famous DJ. You know, I'm doing this because this is fun and I like the tracks.
Exactly. I mean, that's what's important to remember, that's what you lose, that you know, that feeling of like, oh, I got to do this because that's what I like, not because you like have heard something doing well and then go, oh, I like that because it's close enough to like the thing that I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a really tough distinction. Like, I don't know if most people even realize that's a distinction, but like yeah, you know what I mean? Because you can like someone else's ideas so much that you make something so similar that you like that so much, but like to someone else who's going to hear it, they're just going to hear a bad version of that. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
So people really need to understand, because I get a lot of demos and it's like they're technically really good, like well executed. I don't think producing at a high quality is inaccessible for most people now, like the splice and like the way sample packs are, like making something that sounded really good that should be a given, right? Now we're looking for originality, and so someone can execute everything else on fucking point, maybe even sometimes like slightly better in some bits, but like overall, if I've heard the idea before, it's not even going to be close to as interesting the second time around. I don't care if you made it, like you really got to have made it better, like a lot better, you know what I mean? But marginally better ain't going to cut it. And so like, I don't know, it's so trend orientated, like sometimes in dance music, that like I try my best to not be like, I mean, I don't want to be like an outcast, but I also just don't want to like just rush into the mold because everyone else is. I mean, right now it's very like sample a cappella dominated, which is kind of my lane anyway. So I have, after the album, I got 2 really strong singles I'm gonna put out with, like, I mean, some people have heard them in my sets already, so they're destroying. So it's kind of like, I think my whole year will be a progression from this album, not really like here's an album and it ends. Here's an album and it's like just the beginning of like the rest of it.
What is the release date on that album?
Like 3-4 days.
Oh shoot. Wow, dude, that's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
It's
All right.
cool.
Well,
It's more
cool,
like a
man.
deluxe. So there's like a couple of new singles, obviously a couple of the big singles that we just put out like over the year, you know.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of remixes and VIP versions of like some of the songs. So,
Nice, man. That's cool. Now, so you know, you're trying to find like, or you're starting to lean into, you know, just making the tracks that, you know, speak to your heart, that come from your heart a little bit. How quickly does an idea like come to you typically? Or is it kind of something where you have something in your head and you're like, I just got to get it out? Or is it something, you know, you're walking down the sidewalk and you hear a sound, and what kind of does that creative process look like for you?
Lately I'm in like a thing where I do it in phases.
Okay.
So like I'll have like a month where I just go ballistic and I'll start like 5 ideas in a day type thing, you know what I mean? It just go
Yeah.
as quick as I can, because like I think when you stop for too long, that's what kills the idea,
Okay.
right? Like if you just get loopitis.
Yeah.
So the minute I get stuck, I'll change, and then usually from there, I'll just leave all the rough like loops, like ideas,
Mhm.
and then I'll have another break, right?
Yeah.
And then when I come back from the next break or whatever, I'll go through everything that I made
Okay.
like a month ago,
Yeah.
and I'll pick out the best ones,
Yeah.
or I'll export parts from like good,
Yeah.
like maybe like the idea sucks, but there's one line that's fucking amazing, right?
Yeah.
So
You just
I'll
gotta,
clean all that shit up,
yeah.
and then I kind of go to work on that, because like I don't know, it's too easy to spend too long on a bad idea,
Mm-hmm. I get that.
and really the good ideas come together really quick,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody will tell you that. Like I don't think there's a producer out there that won't say like the best records came together really quick, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's my philosophy. If I'm not hitting it quick, like if I'm not able to finish, if I start something and I hit a wall, I
Mm-hmm.
got to move on. But if I'm like rolling, then it's gonna get done in a day or two, or
Nice.
most of it, and maybe the details get done over like a month or 6 months, whatever that takes, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the finishing process takes, but like most of the ideas there. So
Nice, man. Now, so you're not just a dance music producer though, man. You're like, you have your hands on a lot of different things, like, and you do a lot of hip hop producing nowadays, right?
yeah, I think that's
That's
half the reason why the album has some records it does, because like half of these things were demos that were written for like XYZ that like didn't get cut, and then we were like, yo,
yeah.
this record's actually crazy. So yeah, been doing more of, well, actually technically been doing less of that, and
Okay.
just choosing the shit I want to do a little more. So if
Uh-huh.
I work on something like I work on it, you know, like I mean the last thing I did was a Tinashe. I don't know if you know
Okay. Yeah.
Tinashe, R&B singer.
Yeah.
So I've done like 2 records for her now, but we've got a few more.
Cool, man.
So just
And
being like, just working with people that fuck with me and I fuck with them, you know.
yeah, well, and you know, getting down into that conversation, you know, you've gotten the opportunity to work with some pretty notable artists like, you know, Warren G, Pusha T, Ty Dolla Sign, Diddy. You just mentioned Tinashe. Like, as a hip hop fan and like a hip hop producer, do you ever like find yourself just starstruck with anyone you've worked with before?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and not even because like I mean half the people I've met, but it wasn't like a work, you know what I mean? I was just in the studio, but I wasn't like the producer, you know what I mean? I was just like
Okay, yeah.
chilling. So yeah, I mean like I met Future one time, like that was cool. But I was just like it was Ty Dolla Sign's session, and like I
Mhm.
just pulled up. It was like his birthday, and I was just chilling, and like then Future walked like I was chilling, and then the security guards came in and cleared like everyone out. There was like 30 people in this room, and Ty was like, "It's cool, he can chill," because I was
Yeah,
just by myself, and I'm like, obviously, like don't
yeah.
like fit in. And
Thanks, Ty.
and I was chilling, and then fucking Future walked in, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" So that was cool. But I mean, other than that, like maybe when I met like Taylor Swift, I mean, not even like
Yeah,
I met like Taylor Swift and like Katy
yeah,
Perry and shit. Like I thought that was like cool, but it wasn't like
yeah, for
starstruck.
sure. Now, like, what are some of the differences you notice between like the creation of like hip hop tracks and dance tracks, and like even the differences among the artists that you work with in each?
Well, I mean, it's a totally different game.
Yeah.
It's like dance music. It's very insular, and it's like it's very lone wolf. You know what I
Interesting.
mean?
Yeah.
On the other side, it's very collaborative. Like
Okay.
in the pop world, it's like usually there's like more than one producer on a
Yeah.
record. Usually there's more than one songwriter. Um, so yeah, it's a little more about I mean, this is about networking too, but that is like you got to be going to sessions.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much like it's a different game. It's like the way we would go to shows,
Hmm.
got to go to sessions. So I guess at the peak of me really trying to grind that stuff out, it would be like weekends for shows, come home, do sessions. Like I would be
Hmm.
up till like 5, 6 a.m. sometimes, and
Wow.
then sleep all day,
Yeah.
do that during the midweek, and then go back on the road, do shows again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really doing that like that anymore, but like
Mm.
you really gotta like be active, I think is what I'm trying to say. Because
Yeah,
that's
for
not the
sure.
kind of shit you can sit at home and like get cuts. Like in
Yeah.
EDM and dance music, you could stay home, make like a you could be dead mouse
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, make some fire shit like Porter, some
Yeah.
shit,
True.
and like have a huge career because someone gonna like pluck you out of obscurity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In rap and pop, if you're not in LA, like on the grind every day, or like
Yeah.
going out at night, like
Uh,
to network, like, or you don't have the right manager and shit, like, maybe you can live in LA, but you have the right manager who's just putting you into sessions. Like, it doesn't really happen.
yeah.
Because a lot of good beat makers out there,
Yeah.
a lot, a lot. So I don't even know how it is anymore, like to stand out in that game because I'm not like active like that. I'll just
Hmm.
wait till some shit comes to me.
Yeah.
But there are kids that are really, really good and just have to go grind every day and still not getting paid. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a different game. It's a totally different game.
Yeah. I bet. Well, especially now, like, and it's kind of going back to what you were saying about how, with all the different sample packs and like with Splice and all that and all the different DAWs, like it's like making a good track like is within people's like capability or is more accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when you like when you make that so accessible, then the competition freaking bumps up, man. It goes through the roof. But, a rising tide raises all ships. And so it's cool because like with that competitive streak, the quality of work that does rise to the top can potentially be some really, going back to what we were talking about, really original stuff because the market gets so saturated otherwise.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Like I feel like in the rap thing, like like his album wasn't super big, but Trippy Red, like the
Hmm.
sound of it was like it was like dance music saw wave, like chords with
Yeah.
like rap beat, like
Yeah.
808s and shit. Like that's the kind of shit that's the kind of shit that makes me like feel like Splice had an impact. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
rap dudes was just grabbing shit off Splice and then or just playing chords like that. And then
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I bet that kind of stuff comes from, artists or artists like kind of like yourself who have like a little bit or who have a dance music background. And, then they start kind of taking their talents into other genres because, we see a lot of dance music influence in a lot of different genres now. Like you just mentioned with the Trippie Red album, it's bleeding into all sorts of pop music right now. Shoot, man, there's even freaking dance with Diplo doing his like dance beat, like with the Western stuff.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
getting all over the place, man. So it's cool to see, but it's creating some really off the wall sounds. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
man. Yeah, I'm with it.
So like speaking of dance music, like you've worked really closely with heavy hitters like Destructo and like Diplo, Matroda, Chris Lorenzo, just to name a few of them. But like you're so well connected, and obviously game recognizes game. So I'm sure you have plenty of work coming your way. And so I kind of want to ask you, what led you to creating the Divided Souls Records? Why did you want to add the role of label boss to this hectic schedule that I'm sure you already have?
I think the labels like that's what every DJ wants
Yeah.
when they start. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think at some point everyone's like, man, I want my own record label. Um, so it's always been a goal.
Cool.
Um, I just feel like I started it when I started it because I was getting so many demos that were unsigned, that were good. And I was just also sick of giving away like my masters. Like, I mean, not that it was ever like disadvantageous for me, but if I look at things like Wet, where it's got like 15, 16 million streams, it was like a big TikTok, like so many TikToks, you know, like I could have owned that forever outright, you know what I mean? And it probably wouldn't have been as big if it didn't come out on Mad Decent, like for sure. But going forward, I was like, okay, my records have the ability to garner that many streams. Same with the Fly Kicks remix, right? Like I don't own any of that really.
Yeah.
I mean, I do because AC actually came back and like offered me some of it.
Nice.
Which was cool. I mean, that's the homie. So I love him for that.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Just knowing that my records have the ability to garner that many streams, I was like, why wouldn't I want to do that on my own label and like keep all the money? Like, not even in a bad way, but it's like that money goes towards reinvesting in my career, reinvesting in young artists I want to like bring up. And, like, start your own ecosystem around you rather than having to constantly like join other people's ecosystems. Like,
for sure, man.
Which is fine, but that's not what drives me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The ability to, you know, be able to be self-sustaining and be able to, like you're saying, invest in yourself, dude. And when you can invest in yourself, then it sounds, I don't know, this sounds kind of circular, but then all of a sudden you're more invested in your work, you know, like not just monetarily, but like from the energy, from the time and just what you commit to it. When you have full like autonomy of all of that, then it's almost like you can put another gear into it. It's really cool to kind of see that sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the opposite effect of when like something's not paying you well, so you just don't want to go do it, right? Like when something is doing well, like you care so much more about it that you just go twice as hard. So
heck yeah, dude. And now, as if label boss and like multi-genre producer weren't enough, you've also really been getting involved in the crypto game. Like even creating your own coin, Wax Money. Like, could you give us some insight into Wax Money, like how you got the idea and what you even hope to see evolve from it, you know?
So I guess like the first thing most people should realize is during college, because like the plan was to go high school and then finish college and get a job. It wasn't like go to college, finish college, become a fucking international touring DJ.
Yeah.
So I went to college for finance.
Oh, no way.
You know, I wasn't like terrible, or like, I mean, I wasn't like a great like a top student, but like I wasn't terrible in that. Like I really understood like how macroeconomics and shit work. Right?
Yeah.
So it was just always interesting to me, like that side of things. So fast forward to, I guess like 2017 was when I started making like not a lot of money, but enough money from DJing to like put a little bit aside into things.
Yeah.
And at the time, I mean, like it's like buy property, buy stocks or crypto. Like this was the first wave of like when Bitcoin and ETH popped off, right?
Yeah. So like 2000.
I was like, yo, I can't buy stocks because there was I lived in Australia and like apps like Robinhood didn't exist then, you know, and especially not in my territory. Even now, if you live in Europe, there's like eToro and it's like the worst stock trading app on the fucking planet. So even then, the NASDAQ is not that accessible to people overseas, right? Like if you don't live in America, really hard to trade the market here. Then now it's piss. But that's when I started putting money into like stocks and crypto, because I could buy crypto like mad easy, you know what I mean? So I bought like Bitcoin and ETH back then, and I just kind of chilled on it. And then when crypto crashed, like, you know, later that year, 2018, I like, you know, was putting the money into the stock market. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, fast forward to now, and it's like I've been kind of doing it the whole time, but just because it's like in the spotlight, everyone's like, oh, you do crypto and shit. Like, yeah, I've been saying that. Like I've been talking to Blau about, like, came up to me like in 2018 and was like, yo, I'm doing a crypto music festival, like that kind of shit. So yeah, I don't know. It's always been like, it wasn't really a goal to do it, but it was always something I was interested in. You know what I mean? I always had like outside of DJing, most people didn't realize like would talk to other DJs like Blau or Henry Fong or Gesture, GTA, TJR. Like we all had like a Wookie, we all had like a little trading group chat together.
No way.
And we started that in 2017, and now it's like 2 chats. There's one that's stocks and one that's crypto, and the crypto one has like over 100 people in it.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Like so many dudes that you would know from the scene, you would have heard of. But it all spawned from like a little group we started in 2017. It was just like 5 of us in a WhatsApp.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of always been there. And then the roads to doing this shit individually became easier. Like the barrier to entry became easier. You know, in this wave, like as crypto went down, came back up in this wave, there was already a whole bunch of infrastructure built from back then. Some of it died off, but some of it survived. Yeah. And then the quadrupling or quintupling of Bitcoin's value in like a year has surged like the space in terms of like people entering to work, people entering to buy, to sell, you know what I mean, to trade. So yeah, it just went crazy. It's been like a blessing, like having that ability, and then also having that like little nest eggs put aside. Like I was buying NFTs like a year ago. I bought a Bored Ape, and I was sending it to all my friends that day. I sent it to my manager. I was like, yo, I paid $200 for this shit. Everyone's like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, maybe I am, and maybe it's all speculative money, you know what I mean, and that's fine. But the fact is, like, it's spotting like a market, you know what I mean. It's like having like some sense of like strategy to like hold, and like I don't know, it's just always been fun to me. It's like gambling, but like more legit, and I make better money. You know what I mean?
And especially like with the NFTs, you know, like there's a little like it's a creative medium, like combined with a little bit of that gambling. And you know, as like a creative yourself, I'm sure that has like definitely a pull to it. And like you've even started minting your own, or you've been working with an artist to like mint your own NFTs, right? Or at least I was seeing it on your crypto site.
No, everything. I want to be involved in all of it. I actually think it's the cartoon JPEG side. Like, I mean, that's like the gateway, right? For me, I feel like I'm just kind of like I'm more focused on like the other shit now, whereas most people are still like entering the space at that level, you know. So I get asked a lot about like NFT collections, like profile pic collections, and like, yo, I don't even understand what's coming next. Like, it's so crazy. Like the shit that this just represents an idea, right? But like, even on a really basic level, I'm sure most people have thought of this, but the people that are building the infrastructure for royalty distribution to be made instantly. Right? Like if I put a track on Spotify, I get 4 cents every million, every stream. So like $4,000 for a million streams. Just peanut. But 2, the payments are delayed. So I don't get paid till like 6 months or a year later. Right? What do you mean? We live in a world where like I can get something on Amazon right now and it'll come to my house in like 2 hours.
Like, I can literally Venmo you $500 right now.
Like I could send like literally 5 Bitcoin to Australia with no fees, and it'll arrive like pretty instantly, right? Like, how do we live in a world where our music's getting streamed on a streaming network, can't pay you, right? Straight away. So like blockchain is one of the things that's going to fix that, right? Like when they finish building out infrastructures for this, like I don't know if you've heard of Audius. That's one platform. So like, you know, their aim is to be able to deliver on that, for you to upload a song onto SoundCloud, and every play, that 1 cent is split up instantly into everyone's wallets that needs to get paid. It's not going all here and then all there. And then back to you. Like, why does it need to do that? Why isn't it the stream money just getting into the system and then going to everyone's wallets, right? So that's like one really obvious thing that's going to get fixed. And that's not that far off. You know? And that's the tip of the iceberg. If you think that's cool, like there's so much other shit beyond that, from gaming to Gary V's restaurant. Like I own some of the NFTs for his restaurant that he's building, which is I guess like it's a mix between Soho House and like a Japanese restaurant. It's a little bit like a dining club or a dining
Okay.
experience.
Yeah.
It's members only. The concept is not really like super appealing at a base level. You know what I mean? Because you're like, why am I paying this guy just to eat at his restaurant?
Yeah.
But it's the dynamic of owning that right?
Yeah.
So like I own that ability. They're going to build out, or someone is building out like a renting platform. So I'll be able to like lend my pass to people to go to that restaurant, right? I'll be able to rent it out and like get income from that pass, just for having it. So I don't need to trade the asset to make money off the asset. Can have value because it's a finite supply. There's only so many seats for so many members.
And that pass, that seat, that is an NFT right there.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So that's kind of more what I'm talking about. Like, I guess on the surface, it doesn't look that special, but really it's the fundamentals, because if we're building foundation for business ideas like this today, think of what those foundations will be in 10 years or 15 years.
True.
When we have way better tech and back-end infrastructure, you know, and we're thinking in that way, like that dynamic where it's not just like, here's an item I made, buy it from me, take my money, I take your money, and that's it. That's the transaction, right?
Yeah.
It will be things where, like, I mean, Hulu and Netflix, they started, like, subscription models have started that, right? They've initiated that gateway into like, you're a permanent customer here, and we keep offering you services. Like, it's like an instant portal, like an instant gateway. Or like, how can you do that as an individual? You know, how can you do that as a small business? Not necessarily as like a huge corporation. Like NFT ownership and like, okay, like this token represents this. It's like more than just saying, here's a written IOU. In a way, it could be interpreted as that, right? At a base level. But I think when you make things official, put it on the blockchain, make it immutable so it can't be changed or rectified and lives in history forever. Then it starts getting interesting, you know. It also starts getting interesting when transactions are transparent. So when you can see how much businesses have sent, or you know what I mean, like if all banking financial systems were made public, like if you could see how much the government spends, right? That's a great use for this. Like government funding should all be done on blockchain so everybody can see where the money's going.
For sure.
I mean? Like government spend. Whatever. But again, these are just surface level ideas, and like it's just the tip of the iceberg.
That's really
sorry
cool,
to go on for a long time, but
no, dude, no, that's awesome.
No, and forever.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I love talking with people who are jazzed about something, you know, like I love getting that energy. And, you know, that's kind of like we just kind of heard like the creator side of it, like the creation side of it. How do you think that, you know, it can change the way people consume like music? Like, how do you think the implementation of those NFTs can change the way that people consume the music? Because as a creator, you know, we're talking about how that blockchain can like redistribute the royalties and stuff off of a track instantaneously, can take care of all of, or like you just said, make everything transparent and knock out all of like these little hidden fidgety things. How do you think it can create, or how do you think it can change the way that people consume the music? Or do you think it can change the way that people consume music?
So I'm not sure like how it will change like the consumption, but what I know is that like it's going to empower a lot more people individually. I mean, if you look at Snoop Dogg as a case study, he put for sale 25,000 NFTs during the Super Bowl, which was his new album. And he sold 8,000 of them at $5,000 each. It's $44 million in one day.
Oh my God.
And so when you empower individuals like that, like how can creative things not come out? You know what I mean?
True.
Like one, there's so many people trying to get into NFTs and crypto that you need to do something super creative to stand out, or just genuinely feel genuine and like the community resonates with you, right? But two, like you literally are empowering now anybody from anywhere in the world that can just accept crypto payment. Right. And like this is like, you don't need a bank account. That's what most people don't realize. Like when you want to accept money from anywhere, you need a know your customer KYC process website. So it's either your bank, it's Stripe, or it's PayPal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you live in fucking Tanzania, most of those, like, I mean, honestly, like most people in most third world, it's like mobile phones are almost everywhere now at this point, right?
Yeah.
Televisions, right? Like, I mean, even in like some villages and even the worst villages. So what I'm saying is those people have access to the internet, but they don't have access to a bank account.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't have even the documentation to open a bank account, and the bank in their country isn't going to fucking let them open it. You know what I mean? Because they have a whole bunch of other oversight they got to deal with.
Yeah.
Well, having a fucking MetaMask wallet, you don't need any credentials to get one.
Yeah.
You just literally download an app and it's yours.
Yeah.
And from there, you can accept payments from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
In literally any Ethereum currency. Like, how is that not like empowering for someone to then go, hey, you know what? I should make an NFT project. Like that kid that just took a photo of himself every day for a year and uploaded it and made $4 million.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. Maybe it's not the most creative thing in the world, but you've opened the door for like anybody to be able to step in now.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to make how people consume it different, because someone's going to come in with a crazy idea of how to engage more people than the next person. And that is going to be like a new way. So what I'm saying is that I haven't thought of it yet, but I'm sure that this will open the door for someone to have the power to think about it, or have the time or the money to sit there and think about it, you know?
Yeah. No, dude, this is awesome, because I mean, like for myself, like I'm definitely an outsider looking in. Like I haven't like really like invested like much of anything into like either just like crypto or NFTs. But it's definitely something that like you can't just ignore it. Like it is making waves. Like whether you're somebody who says, oh, it's like it's just a flash in the pan, or oh, like it's a Ponzi scheme or anything like that. Like regardless of what you ascribe to it, it is making waves. Like it needs to be paid attention to. And like now I'm learning like from just this conversation, like the well of possibilities that could be like coming from it in the near future.
Yeah. It's just, it's hard to not have like bad actors, right? It's the Wild West right now. It's like the beginning of the internet.
Yeah.
And so there's always going to be bad actors, but you can't really generalize like the whole space in terms of like one thing. Like it's more than just Bitcoin. It's more than just Ethereum. It's like all the smart contracts and blockchain backend systems, like integrating that into like websites, you know what I mean? So like just fucking crazy amounts of like I really respect like full stack devs and like web3 like crypto devs, like people that know how to code, all that shit. Like I have a deep respect for that now, because I'm starting to understand those systems and like how complex they are, and like even just having like a beautiful designed website but like has functions on the back end for all that stuff, and you can just pull data instantly into them from blockchain is like have a crazy respect.
It's so much more than just a WordPress page.
Exactly.
All right, man. Well, hey, I got just a couple more things for you. I got like just real quick, and I'll let you get on with your afternoon. The first thing, like last question before we kind of get to our speed round, is what advice might you have for up and coming DJs or producers who are just trying to take their passion from hobby to career?
Yeah, okay, so I guess the first thing I would do is like I would try and get as many shows as I could, and when I say shows, I just don't even mean shows, I mean like gigs. Like I would try and get like play in like a bar in your area 5 nights a week. And if you did that for like 6 months or a year, that's gonna arm you with a lot of skills. I feel like not just like crowd handling or like how to DJ for a long time, and you know what I mean, but things like the business end, getting paid, like asking for work, or like people asking you if you can work, you know, like just having those relationships, because some people might not have the skill set in that way, you know what I mean, just to be personable. And I feel like you can be too introverted and lose work sometimes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just developing all those things, man. If you're like a young kid and you're like out of high school, out of college, you're like, how do I go from here to here? Yeah, I would go, if you're in college right now, I would go to every bar in your fucking college town.
Yeah.
I would practice, obviously, and have equipment, but I'm assuming you already got that step covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just trying to go from here to here, and I would try and play every night a week until you are like the hero of like that fucking town, you know
Nice.
what I mean? And like, yeah, go from there.
Cool.
Hopefully
man.
things will progress much quicker, but I'm just saying, like, in the worst case, right?
Yeah.
You would just crush it locally, be a hero in your own hood.
Yeah.
And like every big DJ that came to town would probably like, you'd probably open for them or you'd meet them somehow, right?
Yeah. And
From
then those
there,
connections are made.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is just do that step and just trust the process will lead you to where you need to be. But if you put yourself in the mix, you're always gonna have a chance.
Nice, man. Well, cool. All right. So the last thing we got is a speed round. All right. So I'm just gonna bump out a bunch of questions real fast, and they shouldn't make you have to think too hard. All right. But if they do, if you want to divulge a little bit more explanation, feel free. But these are going to be pretty quick. All right.
Let's go.
Awesome. All right. First one, club or warehouse?
Warehouse.
Rave or festival?
Festival.
All right. Digital or analog?
Digital.
All right. Biggie or Tupac?
Actually, can we go back to the last question? Digital, and I'm guessing you're talking about synths.
Yeah.
Okay, analog, because fuck, analog does sound better.
All right. Okay. All right. Now, Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie.
Yes, my guy. All right. Dream performance spot.
Oh, fuck, man. Like crypto.com arena or like Red Rocks.
Yes. All right. Now, dream collaboration.
Oh man, so hard. Skrillex, Daft Punk. Yeah, a Weekend. I don't know. Probably the other thing.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Now, best concert you've ever attended as a fan.
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk. Nice. Drink of choice.
Probably just vodka lime soda. Pretty standard.
All right, cool. Do you have a favorite cannabis strain?
Yeah, Blue Dream.
Blue Dream, classic, timeless classic.
Best.
Okay, so you walk into a house party and someone hands you the aux. What song are you playing to get the party going?
Oh man, this is such a tough question right now. Probably that Tell Me Something Good song, you and MacGyver.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now it's the end of the night and the house party's starting to wind down. What song are you closing out the night with?
Colac.
Yes, dude. God, it's a fucking banger, man. I love that track. All right. Now, if you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what song would that be?
Fuck, what's the name of it? Okay, basically any Drake and Rick Ross collab song.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. All right. So what song what was the first dance music song that you had on repeat?
Oh, maybe like the Bucketheads, The Bomb, or like Chicken Lips. Okay. I think that song, or Azito the Bass.
Nice.
One of those ones.
Love that. All right. So if you could have a dinner with anyone dead, alive, past, present, who would it be?
One person?
Yeah, I'll give you three.
Prince, for sure.
Nice.
Cleopatra. For sure. I feel like that would be mad interesting. You know what I mean? Just to see.
Yeah.
And then maybe like fucking like, I don't know, some like a Beethoven or like, just someone that would just be fucking like Nikolai Tesla or something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Someone that's like
just
you're so ahead of their time that you see like what it was like to be like that crazy then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just to be operating on a completely different wavelength than everyone else in your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude. Interesting. All right, so guilty pleasure food.
Fuck, man, so many. Like so many. I mean, fast food like Popeyes and shit. I love that shit.
Dude, I fuck with a good burger myself, man. Like Five Guys or something like that. Do you guys have Five Guys out in LA?
Yeah, I like Five Guys.
Dude, I fuck with some Five Guys.
I love all. I mean, honestly, probably the worst one is like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Because like it's not food, but like fuck, I consume that like a lot.
Yeah. It's that hey man, it's that sugar rush, man. Especially if
I never had it when I was a kid. I never grew up with like soft drinks. So like that was like my parents' downfall.
Yeah.
They should have like put it in my system so I wasn't like crazy about it when I like, you know what I mean? I was like a caged pit bull. Like when I got out of high school, I could start just drinking sodas whenever I wanted. Holy shit. So bad.
Man. All right. So just a couple more. Would you rather face off against one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Duck-sized horses.
Duck-sized horses.
Oh yeah. That would be fucking cool.
They might overrun you, man. There's a lot of those things. Like ducks aren't too small. Like they might overrun you.
Oh nah. Like I definitely have to like, you know, my senses would be on fucking high alert. Like I'd have to like watch my back everywhere. But like I reckon I could kick a good few of them.
True. Okay. So what is something that you're proud of yourself for?
Making it this far.
Nice. What is an area in which you hope to grow?
Probably being more patient or something, or just like, I don't know, just maybe actually like chilling as well a bit more, or not chilling, but do you know what I mean? Like,
resting,
like actually like going on like doing more shit for myself. You know what I mean? Like going hiking. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't know how to word this without sounding like stupid, but like take more time for myself without for it.
No, dude, checking in with yourself and like doing that little bit of rest and recovery and like being intentional about like trying to be rejuvenated, dude. It's a real thing, man. It's a real thing, and it's something that not enough people give credence to, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and the last one we got for you is before I die, I want to blank.
Oh man, that's a huge list. Before I die, actually, I just want to be happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to feel that, like this feeling we just talked about of like, what are you most proud of? You know what I mean? I want to like make it twice as far and then look back and go, yeah.
Love that, man. Well, Danny, Wax Motif, it's been a pleasure, man. We appreciate the conversation, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. I hope we'll be looking for that album coming out here in the next couple of days. Good luck with the rest of your tour schedule. And I've been Austin Miller. This has been the one, the only Wax Motif. This has been Gray Area's Artist Spotlight. Danny, you have a fantastic night, man.
Thank you, man.